Welcome to another episode of Moto Stories. This is going to be a quick one for you. Just a tip, just for a minute, as they say. So we have had to learn about having interactions with law enforcement.
Yes.
Yeah, because we like to do things...
For better or for worse.
Right, downtown, where there's people.
Because, honestly, most of us don't live out in the city, in the country, you know? So we have fun where we live.
And there's events that happen in highly densely... I mean, who's more densely populated than Chicago? Really? That's about it, right? That's it.
Yeah.
And so when we get 75, 80, or 100 of our friends together...
We have to find ways to keep the group together when we're riding through a dense urban metropolis.
That's right.
Yes.
And so some of the best
for
techniques...
Safety.
Is it for safety?
For safety.
I thought it was for fun.
Yes.
Okay.
But safety
all right,
first,
because it's really fun. Yeah, it's really fun.
So, but yes, so, you know, but Chicago has speed cameras, red light cameras, and police officers in SUVs. Right. And so, you know, we don't officially hand out tape before the rides.
In fact, I wanted to call attention to that because
it seems to happen.
You definitely don't put tape on my license plate after I tell you not to put tape.
A lot of bikes end up with their license plates taped off before the big group rides.
I came out of the bar and I've got a very cute license plate. It's got a fun little saying on it, and there was a piece of tape over it. Yep. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? Somebody put tape over my license plate. I was like, I think it's local people who don't like masking tape vigilantes. It's what it was. Because then we proceeded to go very fast.
It was viral marketing for 3M.
It was the worst 3M marketing campaign ever.
There are lots of very scenic areas in downtown Chicago, and we rode through them in a group of about 80 to 100
Well, the first time we did a midnight ride. So like
cloud of smoke. Oh, yes.
Yeah, so the midnight ride is a really good idea because that's the only time traffic in Chicago is chilled out.
That's the best time to go downtown Chicago is when, especially on a tourist, like holiday weekend when it's full of tourists, but the best time is when most people are not there.
It's fantastic. So that was smart. I thought that was really clever. But now I noticed that there's interactions that happen during the Saturday ride because I kept seeing these police officers everywhere we went.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's because
Chicago's full of white hens, apparently.
It's full of lots of things.
Okay, yeah. So I get it now.
But the last big Friday ride we did pre-pandemic, you know, I was blocking traffic. My friend Brian was leading the ride. So at the front, he's very respectable, keeping it to reasonable speed. Right. Stopping for all traffic signals. Right. But after the front, it's important to keep the group together for safety.
Because there's a thing called the accordion effect. Yes. And so the front part can be very mellow and chill and playing by all the rules, but then the back has to go 1,000 miles an hour.
They're like Fred Flintstone to try and keep up.
Yeah, they have to go super fast to try to just get up to the front of the pack. Plus, those lights do change.
Yes, and it's fun to block traffic. Yep. You know, to make sure that that the group has a unobstructed path of travel through the various intersections we need to traverse.
Exactly.
But at some point during this ride, you know, we started seeing flashing blue lights and hearing sirens and everything.
Because they were showing you their support.
Yes, yes, because they were supporting us.
Yeah.
And, you know, we had a police escort, I should say. The end of the ride had a police escort.
Now, I have to question about that.
4 or 5 miles through downtown Chicago.
Because we've done a bunch of rides here in Cleveland, and we called law enforcement agencies and stuff. We let them know that we're doing the ride. And sometimes they'll actually show up, and they'll block a couple intersections for us and stuff like that. So they were giving you that escort then?
Some of them were.
Okay,
we get a very disparate response depending on the vagaries of the officer's personalities.
So some of them had been to roll call and other of them hadn't. Yeah.
Yes, we did not talk with them.
Oh, so this was just random.
Because they're not going to give us permission.
Okay.
And we're smart enough to realize that. And my role in this as blocking traffic is when the lights get close enough to me, I fuck off and block another intersection.
Oh, of course you do.
And whether you are sanctioned by the local authorities or not, if you're blocking traffic, generally you stop, the ride passes you, you pass everybody else, stop another intersection, the ride passes you again, and it's fun because you get to go about twice as fast as the ride.
If the ride's going 35, you get to go 70.
Yes. and it's fun that way. But we got near the end of the ride, and one of our friends was cursing the police officer who tried to run her off the road to pull her over. But at the exact same ride, we're going up Michigan Avenue, the Magnificent Mile in Chicago, and no matter what time of day, year, whatever, there are cops that'll park in the median. It's 3 lanes in either direction.
Right.
There's a stoplight every like eighth of a mile.
Yeah.
And we're just blowing every single light on there. And there's, they're just the cops that are stationed there. Just the sooner you get past, the easier it is for me.
Yeah.
And that's generally the response we get from cops is the sooner these idiots they're organized, they're riding in single file, they're all wearing gear,
right?
Which you don't see in a lot of motorcycle rides, and they're riding scooters. Like, who's gonna believe that these guys are causing trouble? So
the sooner we get past them, the sooner they can go oppress minorities.
The sooner they can get back to their the sooner they can get back to violating people's civil rights.
Yeah.
So, and then, a lot of Chicago cops one-on-one are cool.
Yeah.
As an institution, it's got a lot of problems, but not that scootering is an excuse for any of that.
I had to borrow a bike one time in Chicago, and I borrowed your small frame. And a small frame, to people who are uninitiated, is a small frame of a scooter. Yes. It's not very big.
It's the teenage version of a Vespa.
It is a teenage version of a Vespa. And I usually ride bigger bikes that are, more powerful or enhanced in some way. And Brian was nice enough to loan me this.
I like riding small frames because, like in the Guinness Book of World Records, there's those 2 fat guys. I was always
the
really
brothers.
into that. Yeah.
Well, at one point we're riding on this ride, and we're in this what I thought was a Star Wars trench run. Because
Lake Street.
Is that what that's called?
It's riding under the L.
I drive that way to work every day, and it's just we call it
that's what he told me.
Trench.
He's like,
we call it the trench run. Yeah.
This is how he goes to work every morning. It's terrifying because as you're riding,
it's 2 lanes.
Yes.
Under an elevated train.
And I think they might have
built about 100-something years ago.
Yeah, and I think they might have filmed Blues Brothers there because all I can see are like people trying to dart in from the sides.
Right. Yeah.
And we're going.
There's like a
and the parking lane there's huge metal pylons between the driving lane and the parking lane.
And there's a steel beam every 20 feet to 15 feet. And I drive to work. I've been 20 years.
If you go to wipe
at least once a week, glasses. I see a car wrapped around one of the beams. Yeah.
You go to wipe your glasses, you're going to catch one of those beams, or the beam's going to get you. And it's terrifying. And to be able to do that and Lower Wacker Drive and all the things that are so quintessentially Chicago, because there is some amazing engineering in Chicago. And then there's these 2 places. And it's a terrifying place to ride a bike when you're not familiar with the town. And when you're with a group of people, like this isn't the main ride. This would be like your buddies going to the bar kind of thing, where you're like, oh, look, Brian knows where he's going, but we don't. So
you got to keep up.
You got to keep up with Brian,
or Brian's got to keep up with me.
Oh my God!
Yeah, it's usually that.
It's so sick.
Yeah,
and that is a funny
split
thing.
Lanes.
Yeah,
and splitting lanes in denser Chicago traffic is different than splitting lanes out like in the country.
Here in Cleveland, we say you can get anywhere in Cleveland in 30 minutes. Anywhere in Cleveland, doesn't matter where it is, in 30 minutes. In Chicago, that's 2 hours. And that's if you're going 10 blocks. Chicago's a very difficult city to travel in. But if you've got the scooter, if you've got the scooter,
it's even easier on a bicycle. I can get to work. It takes. I live 11 miles from work. I can get to work in an hour in a car, and I get to work in 45 minutes on a bicycle.
That's just insane, man. Yeah, it is a weird thing. One time we did a parade there was it Columbus Day?
Yeah.
It was a Columbus Day parade. And a bunch of us people from out of town kind of came in, thought it'd be fun to ride scooters in a parade. And
Chicago is, if you've seen Ferris Bueller, there's a parade pretty much every weekday and every weekend in Chicago.
There's always someone that needs to be celebrated.
Yeah, there's
some
ethnic civic.
That's
Polish Pride Parade. Yeah. Yep, there we go.
Well, we have a huge Irish population.
Absolutely.
We've got a huge Polish population. We've got a huge.
Well, you got a huge.
You name it. We got
everything population because you're Chicago.
Right.
Yeah.
And I showed up and I was wearing my High Society t-shirt I'd gotten at one of the Checker Demons rallies that was sponsored by porno company. And I have this High Society t-shirt on and we're all staging up, doing our thing, having a great time. And I see that's right behind us was a middle school marching band. And I'm like doing what we do. We're standing around, we're smoking cigarettes. Somebody brought a flask and a case of beer and we're just having a great time and we're being off color. And I realized that there's like a 9-year-old girl with a flute next to me or some nonsense. And then they were like, oh, the scooters are great. And we're revving the motors and honking the horns. And I have
gassing them with 2-stroke.
Yes, gassing them with the world's worst 5% two-stroke mix. It was awful. Those children, they can't do math
Remember there
now.
was like the woman came with like a backpack of coffee that she was supposed to be given to everyone, and then Andy just cornered her. And
Andy took all of her. Yeah.
Just wait here.
And I was standing there getting pictures taken with a marching band with a High Society shirt on. And I sent all those pictures to High Society because I figured that would be hilarious to have like the High Society rep.
Those kids just thought you were a High Society guy.
They just did. They thought I was very classy. That was it. Yeah. Anything else?
Chicago cops. Two just quick stories. So
at
one point, this is a different year than what I was telling when they were trying to run people off the road. But same part of the city, Grant Park, Buckingham Fountain, the Married with Children fountain that goes up and everything like that. So we're turning from one road onto another, and someone actually got this on video during the ride.
Okay.
As a cop passed us in the other direction, and on their loudspeaker, they just go, "Get a real bike."
You got mocked by the cops.
They don't care. I was blocking this intersection on like the 6-lane road, and I swear to God, there was a party bus like next to me, and I swear to God, somebody spit on me.
If I had him, I could have stopped killing black people.
But you'll get a real bike.
Get a real bike.
And then at the end of the ride one Saturday night, so we're standing outside Late Bar, which is, as the name would imply,
it's open
until 4 or 5 a.m. And we're standing out there, and the quintessential Chicago cop, like Mike Ditka mustache, chubby, I'm a Chicago cop kind of guy. He rolls up, it's like rolls down his window.
Cross between Dan Aykroyd and Jim.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah. He pulls up, rolls down his window, goes, "So is this where the mods hang out?"
Yeah, you're right on time, pal.
We were just like, yeah, you got us. And our friend Debbie, who doesn't know Jack but knows of Jack, turns to me and goes, "It would be hilarious if that Jack guy was here." And I'm like, he's
right there.
Right there.
That's it.
Because our friend Jack is associated with the police department and so.
No, I thought I just figured that he was an enthusiast. I just thought he was a law enforcement enthusiast.
He is an enthusiast.
Jacques, you said, right?
Jacques.
Right, exactly. Yes. Jacques Lemont. Yeah. So,
so I just looked over and I just get a.
Yep. Yeah, that's all you get, man. No, I'm not here.
And I was like, I wasn't going to say anything.
No, we have a few people who are friends in the community.
Because if something was happening where someone with connections needed to step up, that person, if they were present, would step up.
It's a little more different. It's a little more different than the strange dichotomy of law enforcement officers who also want to be in MCs, because it's a weird thing. It's like motorcycle clubs tend to be outlaw, so you're a cop or you're an outlaw, stay in your fucking lane kind of thing. But with scooter thing,
I don't know if that's as much of a problem as you might think it is.
Oh yeah, it is.
I think there's plenty of cops in outlaw biker gangs.
There are, and that's the problem.
Yeah.
So that's a problem for the outlaws and a problem for the cops too. It's a problem for everybody. But in our community of scooter enthusiasts, we also have some law enforcement members, and there's a different reason they don't want to be associated. Because when I was a police officer, I was called Scooter for 3.5 fucking years.
Yeah. No, I
owned
had a friend, Josh.
a Harley Davidson. I owned a Honda motorcycle. I made the mistake of riding a Vespa to my job at the police department one fucking time because the Harley was broken down, and I got called Scooter for 3 fucking years.
Clearly a toxic environment.
Exactly.
No, I had another friend, not this one that we were just talking about. I had another friend who was also a Chicago cop.
Right.
And very nice guy.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, I get so much shit when I ride my Stella to the district station.
Yeah.
So
well, again, choose your audience, right? Yeah, that's exactly
that's
right.
It. I mean, there was one point 10 years ago, a friend and I, we're on Western Avenue, which is like the longest street in Chicago. And it's got some open stretches, and we just looked at each other at this light, and we're just like, and we pull up to the next light, and this cop pulls up next to us, which coincidentally was right next to the police station, and rolls down his window, and we're this is a city street, speed limit's like 30, and we were probably top of 4th gear by the time we actually got to a red light. And he's just like, "You had a pothole in those little wheels, you're going ass over tea kettle. Slow down."
That's called I can't be bothered to write you a ticket.
No, I
don't want to clean up your dumb mess.
That's why Chicago has speed cameras, because the cops have better shit to do than pull people over.
That's pretty.
So what we're to say is, if you're a cop and you're watching this, quit your job, come find us, get a scooter, join the scooter club. We'll get you a job as a graphic designer or some wholesome occupation.
Honestly, the first 75% of that is absolutely true. It worked for me. because that is exactly the story of how I met him.
And we'll turn things around for you, and you can be proud about what you do.
There you go. That's it. That might be the tip.
We'll welcome you.
Yeah.
That is the tip of the week.
And then you'll start listening to ska music and everyone will hate you.
No, you don't have to do that. we wouldn't make you do that. Only if you want to.
We'll still let you wear a badge, but it'll be a totally different badge.
Yes.
Yeah, it'll be more spectacular. So that's great. Thanks, guys, man. I really appreciate you coming to Cleveland. And you guys, I want to say that I know that you're both loyal viewers of the channel, and I got to say how much Steve and I respect that you came all the way from Chicago just to do the Moto Stories thing.
Well,
that was really nice.
We got rid of cable, and there's not much on.
Okay, that's true. So you want to provide your own content.
Yeah.
So if you want to, literally, if you want more of this, you should become a part of this. We want your Moto Stories, and Steve's going to tell you how to do it. So Steve's going to throw something up here now that's going to be.
It's going to say, "Come knock on the door."
And say, what was it?
Ask for James.
Knock on the door really hard and ask for James.
Oh, I thought you guys were starting the Three's Company theme.
No, we've been waiting for you. Yeah. So that's it. Please remember to ride fast and take chances. Play us out of here. I love this guy so much.
They haven't kissed yet.
I know, not yet, but it might happen. Hit the red button.